So we're constructing a view in the Book of Mormon, a very simple view of the nature of the post-mortal spirit world, one dimension being paradise. Anything you want to add, Brian?
The spirit world is a big place, and you're going to have those, as Todd was saying, that are going to be the righteous, that are going to be in one place, perhaps in that world of spirits, and then in maybe another place. You're going to find others who are perhaps not so obedient, and Alma brings that out. That it's not just a place of paradise for.
As you were saying that, I was reminded of what the prophet Joseph said. This is from the teachings of the prophet Joseph Smith, page 326. He said this, Judge Adams' funeral, James Adams. The spirits of the just are exalted to a greater and more glorious work. Hence they are blessed in their departure to the world of spirits. And this is the part that's interesting to me. Enveloped in flaming fire, they are not far from us, and know and understand our thoughts, feelings, and motions, and are often pained therewith. I don't know how that gets to you, but that gets my attention. That is, the spirit world, as President Brigham Young taught, is all about us. They don't go off to some other planet. They don't go off to some other world. They are associated with the world in which they had lived in the flesh.
Right, that's what I was just going to say. Brigham Young said, where is the spirit world? It's right here. Do the evil and good go together? Yes, they do. Do they go to one kingdom? Yes, they do. Do they go to the sun? No. Do they go beyond the boundaries of organized earth? No, they don't. That's from the Discourses, page 376. So it's right here. So lots of times people talk about them being up there, in obituaries, but It's really right here.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, let's look at the other dimension, another side. Let me read that for us. Then shall it come to pass, verse 13, that the spirits of the wicked, yea, who are evil, for behold, they have no part nor portion of the Spirit of the Lord, for behold, they chose evil works rather than good. Therefore the Spirit of the Spirit of the devil did enter into them, and take possession of their house. These shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth, and this because of their own iniquity, being led captive by the will of the devil. Now this is the state of the souls of the wicked, yea, in darkness, and a state of awful, fearful, looking for the fiery indignation of the wrath of God upon them. Thus they remain in this state, as well as the righteous in paradise, until the time of their resurrection. It was President Joseph F. Smith, as we have it now in gospel doctrine, who spoke of what he called a partial judgment that takes place at the time of death. So we die, and there is a partial judgment. Obviously, the final judgment is following the second resurrection, but at the time of death, there is a partial judgment, and individuals would pass either into paradise or into this other realm, which Alma calls outer darkness, or Jacob in 2 Nephi 9 would call hell. Let's just make a comment about outer darkness. Generally, how do we use that phrase, Todd?
Well, it's not usually referred to this place, but where those who become perdition go. And because of these extremes we talked about, you might be confused with that he's talking about that outer darkness, but we're talking about the state of the wicked in the spirit prison, which also could be confusing in verse 14, because he talks about paradise, and from Jesus' statement to the thief on the cross, you get the impression that he says, remember me, and he says, well, tomorrow you'll be with me in paradise. That's often interpreted, we're both going to heaven tomorrow. And Joseph Smith said, no, paradise is not was in the original translation, but he said, tomorrow will be in the world of spirits. And we know from section 138, they both went there. Jesus organized the missionary work, and then that person would have been taught there, but they didn't go to what most people would see as heaven.
So what we would normally think of as final outer darkness, reserved only for the sons of perdition, here Alma is he's talking about this state of temporary outer darkness to describe hell, or that other dimension of the spirit world. Now clearly what's not mentioned here, but the Doctrine and Covenants helps us a little more with, what about decent, good, upright people? I think we're to understand, both from section 138 of the Doctrine and Covenants and from the teachings of the prophet Joseph Smith, that these people would also be in this realm, not agonizing, not suffering, but growing, developing, learning, transforming,
Just like here.
Just like here. I remember, even in paradise, clearly, something must go on where the purifying process continues. I remember so well that at the funeral of Elder Bruce R. McConkie, Elder Packer, saying, "Where is he now?" And he went on to describe where he was, and he said, "And when he is finished, and when the refining process is complete, he will be glorious." Now, I thought he was a pretty refined gentleman as it was, but clearly a process of sanctification and refining continues in the world of spirits, in the realm of paradise. And in the other realm, we have both the wicked who are facing up to who and what they've been, as well as good people who are being taught the gospel, who are learning and growing and developing until the time of the resurrection.
So the state of hell is actually the place where people pay for unrepentant sins. That's part of that state, or that hell they go through. And Elder Talmage taught that to hell there was an entrance as well as an exit, just like a prison here. You commit a crime, you go in, you do your time, and you're released. When people have paid that, they will be resurrected to a degree of glory, and they won't be burning in hell forever.
Good. I was thinking that the prophet Joseph Smith made a statement about this, and that is this idea that there are people there who are learning the gospel, who are being taught it. Notice what he says. This is only weeks before his death. "Every man that has been baptized and belongs to the kingdom has a right to be baptized for those who have gone before," referring, of course, to work, vicarious work in temples. "And as soon as the law of the gospel is obeyed here," meaning in this life, in temples, "by their friends who act as proxy for them, the Lord has administrators there," meaning in that realm, "to set them free." So the movement then into paradise, once the ordinances have been properly performed.
I think that's really helpful doctrine there, because we do have some growth we can still do over there. We do still have some measure of refining that we can go through over there. One of my favorite books is by C.S. Lewis, The Great Divorce. It's kind of a neat allegory on going and talking to people that some are having very difficult time changing, others are changing, and I think when we go over to the other side, we're going to see that some will continue on with the same types of attitudes and perspectives they had here. Others will change and improve and grow and develop and draw closer to the Lord, I think. And so,
good.
I also think there's sometimes a misconception. We're spending a lot of time on the spirit world, and then he starts talking resurrection, that you're just magically resurrected and then you're perfected and there's no growth at all. But I don't think that's what he's saying here. He's talking about there's a restoration. Things will be restored. And over in chapter 41, verse 13, he says, "My son," well, in 12 he says, what's the meaning of the word restoration? To take something in natural state and place it in an unnatural state? He says, no. The meaning of the word restoration is to bring back again evil for evil, carnal for carnal, devilish for devilish, good for that which is good. It's the law of the harvest. We have it in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you don't just magically become a good guy in the resurrection. You reap the seed you sow. Paul said that in 1 Corinthians 15. He said, if you plant wheat, is it going to come forth some other grain? Well, if you plant wheat, you'll get wheat. If you plant corn, you'll get corn.